Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cole, Saturday afternoon, August 13th. Now entering week 7 of Political Science 1013 for the 7-week summer term in 2022. Everybody, I may try to get a short message out next week. We'll be in the final exam period at that point, so I may try to get a short message out. Other than that, this will be the last message of the term. I wanted to say a few words about Unit 8 on the Congress before we mention some end-of-term business and try to wind up the course as a whole. Now, there are several things we try to do in Unit 8. We talk about the kind of people who do and do not serve in Congress and efforts to make Congress more diverse. Part and parcel of that, we want to make sure everybody knows who their representatives in Congress are, especially your member of the House. It wouldn't hurt to know who your senators are as well, but it's especially important to know who your House member is. So we go through a small part of the presentation on that. We talk to some extent about congressional elections, because the way they get elected has a good deal to do with the way they behave once they're in Congress. One important point to make is the huge advantage that incumbents have in getting reelected, especially in the House of Representatives. We try to talk about some of the reasons for that. Now, scholars say that there's two sides to a member's career: the Washington, D.C. side, and then on the other hand, relations with constituents back home, if you will. So we try to talk about both of those. Now, we talk about the process by which a bill becomes law. Then as the presentation moves on to the end, we talk about the budget as a special case of the legislative process. We talk a bit about the great British statesman Edmund Burke and his ideas about whether the legislator ought to be a trustee or a delegate. And then at the very end of the Unit 8 presentation, we try to say a few words to wind up the course as a whole. Now, I should also mention, as that presentation moves on, we talk about the leadership of Congress, positions such as Speaker of the House, Majority and Minority Leader in both chambers, and the committee and subcommittee system. Now, everybody, one kind of important point has to do with that procedure by which a bill becomes law. Traditionally, in a course like this, we present a chart, and you'll find a chart like that in your presentation, and I believe in your textbook also, of the procedure by which a bill becomes law. Traditionally, this involved a submission of the bill to a subcommittee and then to a full committee of which that subcommittee would be a part before the bill goes on to the floor of either the House or the Senate. In the House, there's the extra step of the House Rules Committee, which passes a rule to govern amendments and debate for each bill. Then once the bill has gone to the floor of each chamber, once the chambers have gotten done with it, it may be necessary for there to be a House-Senate conference committee to resolve differences between two versions of the bill, because for final passage, it must be exactly the same bill in both chambers. Now, you'll notice I introduced the term regular order. Now, what we were just describing, from the subcommittee to the committee to the floor, to the conference committee if necessary, that is what we call regular order. The trouble is, people inside Congress will tell you, and outside as well, journalists will tell you over the past decade or two, more and more often they have had to bypass a regular order. For instance, you have a reading to do about the Inflation Reduction Bill, so-called. Now, I don't believe that went through regular order, because with Congress as evenly divided and with relations between the parties as hostile as they are, very often If you tried to put an important piece of legislation through regular order, it would just be stymied. So I think what happened was that that legislation was submitted directly to the floor of the House and the Senate by the Democratic leadership. Sometimes it might be the leadership of both parties in consultation, but there was severe partisan division over this bill. So I believe the Democratic leadership would have done this on their own and submitted it directly to the floor of both chambers. There's a fair amount of hand-wringing in Congress about the need to get back to regular order. But we're probably not going to see that unless we see some change in the attitude of people in the political parties. One thing that's frequently been held up in Congress in recent years has been the budget. They've had a hard time passing the budget on time. Very often, instead of, if they can't get the budget done, they will simply pass a continuing resolution, which simply says, spend money at the same rate you did in the last budget until we can get a budget passed. And that is the kind of thing that will often have to bypass regular order. All right, so that is Unit 8 in a nutshell. Now, your final exam is scheduled for Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st. We're going to leave it up for 48 hours. Basically, it's based on your Unit 7 and Unit 8 class notes, plus 4 articles you have been asked to read. One is about Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Another is about the newly confirmed justice who's just joined the court as of the end of the 2020-2021 term. She would not have been on the court for the Dobbs versus Jackson case on abortion. That was Justice Breyer. But at the end of the term, Justice Breyer, his retirement became effective, and so he was replaced by Ketanji Brown Jackson. So you have an article to read about her and about the court as a whole now that Justice Jackson has joined the court. You have an article to read about the member of the House from Eastern Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin, who is a candidate for the U.S. Senate in an election that will be held. The primary will be later this month, and the general election will be in November. Then finally, you have an article to read about the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act in the Senate. It has now passed the House also, and will go on to the President for the President's signature. All right, so 50 items, multiple choice and true false, with 10 or 15 based on those 4 articles. Very, very similar to the previous exams. It's only over Units 7 and 8. But it'll be up for 48 hours on the 20th and 21st, Saturday and Sunday, about a week from now. Everyone, I got messages out to 3 students who have missed either exam 1 or 3, or in one case both. So to get through the course successfully, you need to try to make those exams up. Please contact me about making those exams up. You know who you are. Okay. Term papers. I've corresponded with a couple of people about term papers. If possible, everybody, if you could get those to me before the final exam, a couple of days before, by the middle of the week, it would be a big help. One problem we're going to have is the fall term begins as soon as the summer term is over. So I've got to roll out 4 courses for the fall on Monday the 22nd. So if I can get term papers, look at them, and get grades on them before that weekend of the final exam, that'd be a big help. Now, grades are not due until Wednesday the 24th. So if I got something on Monday the 22nd or Tuesday the 23rd, I could look at it. But it'd be helpful if you could get it in before that. Okay, everybody, that is it then. As I said, we may try to get a short message out next weekend, but as far as substantive discussion of the material, this is going to have to be it. I hope the course has been a good, beneficial, profitable, eye-opening experience for you. Gives you some idea of some things going on behind the scenes in our politics that you might not have been aware of. Please contact me in case of any problems, questions, or issues, either through the course website or at david.cole@opsu.edu. If any problems with the final exam come up, that's the procedure used. Please contact me, and I'll try to get everything resolved as soon as possible. Otherwise, good luck. Good luck on your exam. We did get the last discussion graded. Most everyone got full credit or close to it. I was not really able to take part in the discussion as much as I would like. I tried to get a message out with my thoughts about the abortion issue earlier today, Saturday the 13th. So I hope you saw that. Otherwise, enjoyed having you this term. It's been a profitable term for you. Good luck on the final exam and your work to end up the term, and please contact me if I can be of help. Take it easy.